We are back with our Just Local podcast. Got a great guest with me today because we have the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale coming up, and we're going to be doing this in collaboration with St Richard's Hospice. So we had to bring Ria in from St Richard's Hospice to explain what's going to happen with the collaboration and how we're going to work in association with each other, but also to find out about the hospice, how it works, what great work it does, and a little bit more about Ria herself as well. So Ria, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me into your lovely studio.
You're most welcome. So let's begin with you, if we may.
Yeah.
So could you just explain a bit about your role and how long you've been working with St Richard's Hospice?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the corporate fundraising lead at St Richard's Hospice, and this year I celebrate my 9th year of working for the organisation. So 12 years ago, my dad was actually a patient at St Richard's Hospice, and sadly he died at the hospice. My brother and I were so blown away with the care that we received, we had to give something back. So we created a music festival called Woo Fest, a little plug there if you don't mind.
Yep.
4th and 5th of July. And through organising the festival and getting involved with St Richard's and fundraising in memory of Dad, that's how I met the team at the hospice. A job came up. I was previously in sales. I applied for the job as a fundraiser, and here I am 9 years later.
Amazing.
And it's the best job in the world for me. I never have that Sunday feeling, and I'm honoured to work for such an incredible organisation.
Yeah, well, I often do write down a few questions, and I was thinking about kind of the work that you must do. It must be very rewarding to know that you're making a difference with the fundraising that you're helping for the St Richard's Hospice itself.
Absolutely. So I think previously, having worked in sales, we always strive to hit our targets. Obviously, we get a bonus. But I think that the real bonus in what I do now, if an event that I'm working on succeeds, the bonus is supporting families, families just like mine, that need the care that St Richard's Hospice provides. So that's my bonus. That's my, my get up and go every morning.
Amazing. And can you just elaborate on the care and the service that St Richard's Hospice does give then to people?
Yeah, absolutely. So St Richard's Hospice covers the whole of Worcestershire. So we have a 17-bed inpatient unit where patients can come, possibly, most likely for end-of-life care. We have a therapeutic programme where patients will come and get involved in different activities within our Living Well centre. We also have hospice at home, so our hospice nurses and healthcare assistants will visit patients in their own home. And finally, in addition, we have our amazing family support team. So what they do is they support patients and the entire family with the journey that they're actually on. We care for over 3,000 patients and their loved ones each year. And to provide all of that care, it costs over £12 million every year and counting.
Really?
Each year that figure will go up and up. So
I trust you're busy then.
Yes.
And obviously we know a little bit because a lot of our vendors have very generously donated to St Richard's Hospice, which has been amazing over the couple of years that the community fund's been going. How is it funded if you've got to try and raise £12 million just to help all those people?
Yeah, absolutely. So 80% of our income is provided through people perhaps leaving a gift in their will, through fundraising events, people like myself and my brother who received so much amazing care we feel we have to give back, fundraising events and campaigns and different activities. So essentially, it's our community that enables us to fund our care.
And you've also got shops dotted around Worcestershire as well with the charity shops. Could you tell us a little bit more about those?
Absolutely. So as well as the fundraising side of things and what I've just mentioned, we also have 18 charity shops around Worcestershire. And of course, that again relies on the community. It's donated stock that people will give to the hospice, donated good quality stock that we can then sell in our charity shops. We've got a new one actually opening in Stourport. So yeah.
Fantastic. And then just going back to those events, could you talk us through, because I'm sure some of the listeners would have heard of them or seen the penguins around Worcester and stuff like that. Could you talk me through some of the highlights that you think over the last 9 years of your time at St
Yeah.
Richard's you've been involved with?
Gosh, there's so many events. We have so many different events in our calendar, because I think that's really important as fundraisers, that we have a varied number of events that people can actually get involved in. So we do runs, we do walks. Our Worcestershire Way walk is actually coming up in July. You've mentioned penguins, so the Wild in Art trails. We started off with the giraffes with Worcester Stands Tall. We also had Worcester's Big Parade with the elephants, and more recently the penguins. So not only are they essentially fundraising campaigns, because the money that the trail actually brings, and of course each sculpture will go to auction and be sold, but it's what it does for the community. So I think especially during the summer holidays, it's amazing for families to have activities to do that are based around the sculpture, and taking part in the art trail. So we have so many events. Our Lights of Love campaign, which is usually in November, where people can remember a loved one and make a donation towards our care. We have our celebration garden, our Santa Dash, you name it. We have lots of different events, and there's always new events coming up as well.
Yeah, and there's some really practical ones as well. You help get the trees in at the end as well, don't you? Christmas tree collection.
Yeah. Oh, how did I forget that
Don't
one?
worry, that's what I'm here for. I did my research. I'm here for good reasons. But
Yes.
no, I think the waddle as well. Just going back to that, it was amazing to see the buzz around the city, and I suppose if nothing else, it's also putting St Richard's Hospice on the radar of people as well. Which children at this stage will hopefully not have heard of it, but there'll be points at which they will learn of it and they'll understand what it's there for. So it was a really, really nice occasion, and each of them have just been a growing success. I don't know what kind of numbers they get through now, but there's hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, that are taking part.
Absolutely. We have thousands of people that take part in the trails. It's a fact that people actually visit our city as well. So it's not just the local community that enjoy. It's great for tourism and for local business. So yeah, they're fantastic. It's a fantastic campaign. And you mentioned about children getting involved and knowing about our care. I actually think it's really important that children do understand the care that we provide. Often I will deliver assemblies at schools and we talk about our care. And quite often, those students have actually experienced our care firsthand, whether it's through a family member, a grandparent. So I think it's actually really important that our message of our care expands to all age groups, especially the upcoming generations as well.
Yeah, and we've spoken a couple of times before, and recently me and you sat together in St Richard's Hospice, and we talked through about the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale. That's one of the reasons we wanted you to come on today, because we're always in touch with each other, aren't we? Because you're passing back thanks to all of our vendors who have obviously given their donations to yourselves. But we got to thinking about how we could make the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale work alongside St Richard's Hospice. So can we now talk a little bit more about that? What are you hoping, from the hospice point of view, will come of this? Obviously, it's another varied event, something that's adding to your calendar, really, adding to our calendar as well. Is there anything in particular you're hoping that will come from this event, and how it will work?
Yeah, well, first of all, I adore the synergy between your customer base, the community in Worcestershire, and of course our care. I love the concept of the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale, in that people can get involved in their streets, maybe host street parties, and of course it's about sustainability. That's massively important for us as charity shops, because it's about sustainability, and of course it's about raising money. So if we can encourage vendors to get involved in the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale and maybe donate a percentage or even all of their proceeds to St Richard's Hospice, that would be incredible. I think you've given us a high target when we sat and had those meetings in the
People know
early
I'm ambitious.
days.
They know I'm
Yeah,
ambitious. But
which is fantastic. So I believe we've set the target on the Just Giving page as £25,000, which would be absolutely incredible. But I can see the numbers of people signing up already,
yeah,
and which is fantastic. So I think collectively, as a team of our community, we could definitely get to that total.
I completely
think.
agree. I mean, last year we had over 120 streets, I think, involved. We've already had 50 sign up. By the
That's
time this goes out, it'll be
fantastic.
50. It could be higher, but I have to kind of edge out to when this editing is going to be done. So we'll say 50 that we'll be up to by then. But 50 streets is more than just 50 homes. It'll be a lot of people within streets. And as you said, opportunities for street parties. When you've got lots of people visiting your street, there's things that you can do to help raise some more money. So you can pull a barbecue out the front and cook bacon baps for people, do hot drinks. All of these things could help raise money. And it wouldn't cost you much to make it happen either. But I think it's lovely. You are right. There's for everyone, there's reasons that they want to declutter. There's reasons that they should commit to and get themselves involved in the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale. But for us, it felt like the right time to link up with yourselves on something bigger. And it'd be amazing to know that we are going to hopefully make a difference, because 25 grand out of 12 million pounds, with respect to everyone that does donate, it's a small amount, but it's an important amount as well. It's going to be
100%
going to be needed.
And I think a key point with any event that we actually do or campaign is the awareness that campaign brings, the amount of people that we can, reach out to, even if it's just people passing by that see our logo. That's massively important. And of course, it's just like we've said about the community getting together with common aims, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Yes, they might have the aim to declutter and and host the sales.
People will feel great about pledging. I think that's a big part of it. I think people will feel like it's been a successful day. It'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be great to have been out there out the front with your neighbours, seeing some people coming through and going through all the stuff you don't want anymore. But it's that feeling at the end of the day that if you want to, once you've done that kind of count up all your pound coins and your notes, you could go onto the Just Giving page and make that donation.
Absolutely.
I will plug the Just Giving page if I may, because you've obviously done Woo Fest 4th and 5th of July. But the Just Giving page is, if you go onto Just Giving, you search Big Worcestershire Garage Sale, you will find the Just Giving page. And if you, having listened to Ria today and remember something that St Richard's Hospice has done for you in the past, if you want to make a donation beforehand, then it will be gratefully received. It doesn't just have to be as a result of selling things. It doesn't have to be just because on the day you wanted to, but you can do it in the lead up to it, because we are really, really keen to do that £25,000. There's a couple of ways we can also do it. Once you've donated, you can actually add Just Giving the gift aid to your payment. So that'll add another 25% onto what have you raised. And I remember, I think we raised something like £340 in our own garage sale last year.
Wow.
So like that would be a big chunk of change to make a bit of a dent. And that's why I said 25,000. I was confident with it. But when you do put things out there like an old Sonos speaker that you haven't used for the last 4 years, those are the things that someone's looking for, and it makes a massive difference to them. They spend £40 on that. It costs 120 in the store. You weren't going to use it anyway. It makes a lot of sense. We've also got this little plan for collection points afterwards.
Yeah.
So let's describe this to the listeners. So assume you've had a busy day. There was a couple of items that you just don't want to put back on the shelf. You don't want to put back in the garage. You definitely don't have room for them now. You've decluttered and made your house look all sparkly and spangly. We're going to do some collection points with St Richard's Hospice in association with Warren's Removals and also your amazing volunteers. So let's just talk about how that's going to work, if you don't mind just describing that to the listener.
Absolutely. So as you said, if there are any items that you don't want to put back in the garage or back on the shelves, yes, so we'll have drop-off sites in Worcester, so the hospice itself, Malvern, and also Droitwich. So Churchfield's farm have actually allowed us to use their land, which will be fantastic. So if you wanted to drop off your goods, then you could stop for a cup of tea or a cake as well, which would be quite nice. And there will be volunteers. So our amazing volunteers will be on site, that will give you advice about the type of stock that we can take. Because of course we do have to make sure that we only take high quality items that can be sold in the shop.
Yep. And we will, in the show notes, add the flick book, which is on St Richard's Hospice website, to allow you a chance to see some of those items in advance. So we read earlier on, I think it was £22,900 it cost you in disposing of items that you couldn't sell in the shop. So it's important that at this point the volunteers do get to select. Warren's Removals are obviously going to come and pick all these items up, take them to your sorting offices and get everything arranged, which is amazing. But we do know that the volunteers are going to have to be quite strict at that point, because there's no point in taking it away and then trying to dispose of it. That's going to cost St Richard's Hospice more money, which unfortunately goes against the whole plan of what we're trying to do. So, so please do, if you're listening to this, have a look in the show notes. We'll make sure you get the link. We've also got a Facebook page which is set up, and it does have it on there as well, so it'll just give you the chance to see a little bit more about those items. But assuming someone has given you something which is suitable to be sold, how's that going to help St Richard's Hospice?
Oh, massively. As I mentioned, we have 18 shops around Worcestershire. So all of those shops have to be stocked to a high quality, to keep our customers that shop in those shops happy. So we do need good quality stock. So again, with gift aid, we can also raise additional monies through gift aid. So when an item is actually sold, as long as we have that supported information, gift aid can be claimed from taxpayers, which again is a massive help to us.
Without a doubt. Yeah, super. And yeah, 25% on top of all those sales in 18 stores would make a massive difference.
Absolutely.
So a couple of things that I need to mention then. If you are looking to get involved in the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale, we know there's a great reason. It's going to help St Richard's Hospice. But if you wanted to do it personally for yourselves, on our website, in our blog section, in our news section, you'll be able to find your way of being able to register. You can register your street. It may be that your street has already registered. And if that's happened, that's fine. That means you are, as a whole street, you're going to be signed up to it. On the day, obviously, you're going to have to come out to the front and get your stuff ready to be sold. It's on the 14th of June. My recommendations, having done to myself, get out early, because people are out they've travelled distances as well for this, but they'll be out from 7 o'clock probably, starting to look at what you've got to sell. So the earlier you can do this, the better. In the run up to it, we'll speak to Kath, Uncluttered by Kath, who you've probably seen in our previous years, who will give you some advice on how to declutter, where to start and what to do with the items. You can start thinking about it now. And actually, if you don't want to wait till the Big Worcestershire Garage Sale, you have a look at the flick book that's on for St Richard's Hospice, and you want to go and donate an item early, then please do so, because I'm sure St Richard's Hospice would be pleased to have more items in.
Absolutely.
And then on the day, well, just get involved. It's great fun. Make sure you've got some change in your pot ready to go. Don't just stay there selling your own stuff. Go out and have a look at some other people's stalls as well. Go and have a conversation with them, see what items you can find. There may be some bargains out there. I know that I was just so fed up of seeing things knocking around my house that I just decided to put them out very, very cheap, promote them on my own Facebook page at the same time, and friends were putting messages in and coming straight over to get them. So it's a really, really good way of getting rid of some of those items that you're no longer going to need. But the great thing about it is, of course, we're going to raise £25,000. That's our big mission. Ria will no doubt keep us informed if we've done that.
Absolutely. And one key thing is, when people do register, if they select that they want to support St Richard's, I think there's a maybe option, or yes, they will. I can get in touch with them and talk them through all the options. I think on the day we'll also be out together.
Yes, of course, Matt? We will. Yes.
So we'll be personally visiting everybody, which will be really nice, because I think it's very important to say thank you to all of our amazing supporters for getting involved. So I will very much look forward to seeing everybody's stalls.
Make sure you bring some money with you then.
Yeah,
so,
I will.
we'll buy each other something. We'll do a bit of a bargain hunt.
That's a good idea.
Treat for each other.
Yes.
Okay, right, mission's on.
There has to be some rules, like it may be a certain item, certain budget. Yeah,
fine.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We'll do that. And we're obviously going to be letting you know which streets are taking part. Big thing for me this year, I've said to everyone that's going to get involved, is we want massive footfall. We've had fantastic sign up from a great number of streets already, but we want people to go out there and start finding some of these bargains, because if you are out there looking for these items, you're going to obviously be putting some money into someone's pocket, and that could come back to St Richard's Hospice. So Ria, thank you so much for coming on the Just Local
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for supporting us with this amazing campaign. I'm super excited.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you also to Warren's Removals, who will be supporting. Thank you to the volunteers who always get involved for you guys. And thank you to you guys in the community. If you do need to, or if you want to sign up, please get in touch via our news page on our website. Even if your street is signed up, like Ria said, they need to get your contact details. So jump on there anyway, put your details in, and that'll make sure that we get the St Richard's Hospice just ticking the right box for the giving link as well. And we look forward to bringing you another episode of Just Local in the not too distant future.